Welcome back for part 3 of my farewell fiddle, probably the last violin I'll make in New Hampshire before I head off and move down to good old Tennessee. I'm using local woods, a piece of locally cut locust wood and a piece of spruce from a fallen tree in the backyard, and I am in the shop stealing some precious moments when I'm not moving. And I am cutting out the block for the neck and scroll and working on the fingerboard. Here's the fingerboard. I got some marks on here. It was too long, too thick, too fat, too everything. And I've started paring it down. I have it to the right thickness. I have it marked out where I need to do some work to finish hollowing it out and thinning it a bit. And then this is my block for the neck. Now this was just leftovers. This wood was not given to me for a violin per se. So I laminated 2 pieces together. And I've marked out my scroll and neck. And you'll notice I had a little problem. The piece I have is not quite big enough. See that? So what I did is I'm making it up as I go along. I had to thin the scroll down a bit. I've got my peg holes marked out. The next step will be to drill the holes, and then I'll do some rough cutting on the old bandsaw. So I got a bit in the chuck. I'm going to drill a 5.5mm hole. Now, if you don't drill these peg holes before you do all your cutting, you're going to be very sad. Because the neck ends up tapered, and it will be just a bear to get that thing sitting nice and square to drill these holes. It's much easier to just go at it right now and drill the holes through. So I'm going to drill all 4 of my holes, and then I can start doing my cutting. Man, it seems like I can't buy enough of these things. I gotta fill this trailer again. Grab some nice banana boxes from the grocery store. Here's our rig, getting set up for another load to go down to Tennessee. My shop is like a war zone. But over here in my peaceful corner, here's the violin taking shape. I got my label in, and right now I'm working on the edges for the belly plate so I can close up the body. These are my favorite files for doing the work on the edge. Once again, keeping the light down low is the best way you can see what you're doing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a 45-degree bevel around the whole thing. I'm going to eyeball the width of the bevel, and it's going to be a solid 1.5 millimeters, I'm going to say, all the way around. With this tool, I have my half round and a little file for getting in here. And then we'll flip it over, we'll get the top, and then a few touch-ups and work with the scraper, and I'll be ready to attach the top. Well, we're coming down the home stretch. It's going to be a close race. I got the corpus all glued up, and she's just got to set there till tomorrow, and I've got this cut out. Guess what I'm working on tonight? This project and maybe a little bit of this. We'll see. I'm going to work hard. I still got more moving to do and furniture to carry out and truck to load, but we're on the game. It's about 10:30 at night, and I've been packing up the shop. There's a few less things on the wall, and I'm working on my scroll right now. I did some sanding and some filing, and I've got it clamped in the vise, and And I'm just using this little DeWalt saw that you can get at Home Depot. It's for cutting back molding on door frames and stuff. Sometimes they call it a pull saw. Has a removable, replaceable blade, and it's pretty inexpensive. And this is what it's looking like right now. So I just trace out the scroll, the pencil, and I start making these cuts so I can start knocking off the excess wood and work my way around. So I'm going to keep at it here, finish the other side, and if I have some energy before I fall asleep, I'll knock some of these off real quick, and then I'll be a little closer to being done. So I finished all my cuts, and this is about the only time, well, one of the only times, one of the few times you'll use an actual chisel as opposed to a gouge, and it's kind of fun. We're just going to be careful to knock off these little pieces. We've got to follow the grain so we don't make a mess of it. And just be patient. And don't try to take too much at once, as you'll pay for it. Right now the grain here is going this way. If I jump right in here and try to follow this line, I'll get a chunk taken out of it. So I'm going to work it down slow. And this one's about a ½ inch wide. Well, we can go to something a little smaller. And it concentrates the force on a smaller area, and there's less chance of it chipping out. And we work our way down. I'll finish off this. We'll come around here. We'll start popping all these little pieces off. This is really a lot of fun. And it's very rewarding when you're done. I think my speech is slurring due to tiredness. Okay, there you go. See, it's a little rough looking. But that's how we begin. And we'll smooth that out and finish this right around here and smooth out that curve. Do the same on the other side, and then we'll trace new lines. Well, I failed, kinda. It's pretty late Thursday night. I gotta close on the house tomorrow at noontime. As you can see behind me, the shop's all empty. There ain't nothing here. Everything's all cleaned out and gone. This was still a new shop. I just poured the concrete in 2015, and I hadn't really finished it. And I'm going to miss it a whole bunch. But over here, on my now clean workbench, is the farewell fiddle. And here's the corpus, the body. It's all done, put together. Looks nice. And I think it's going to look real pretty with the shellac I have. I bought some nice shellac flakes, a dark color, to try out. And I gave it a college try. This is how far I got on the scroll. I made it around, a couple of loops there, and I started my fluting. It's interesting wood to carve. It's very open grain, porous. So I'm going to have to take this with me to Tennessee tomorrow. So I guess we're going to have a part 4, but I'm going to have to finish and play the farewell fiddle down in Tennessee. I've packed up my tools. I got the truck loaded to the roof and the trailer loaded, and tomorrow we're hitting the road. I'll see you next time.